Hey guys, good evening. GodLogic says echo. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon to everybody watching. I have my brother in Christ right here, GodLogic.
What's going on, everybody? It's good
But
to see y'all.
today he's going to be known as Pro-Life Logic. So he did a video. He had a conversation with a pro-abort. Want to tell us how that happened, or how like the conversation got on abortion? How'd you feel conversing with a pro-abort, things like that?
Yeah, so I was with that kafir and disbeliever from Defund the Devil News, I guess he's going by now. So lame. But we were out there together in Vegas, and we decided to get a table and find a spot to just sit the table there, set up, and whoever walks by, we ask to have a conversation, to come sit down and do that, right? And so there was no planned like topics really. There was just general topics like, do you believe in God, or maybe abortion, or if we ran into a Muslim, hopefully, of course, Islam, yada yada, right? But so he was actually, I think, the second guy that came through, and so right on the spot, I was like, "We're going to talk about abortion. You want to talk about it?" He was like, "Yeah, okay." He was with his girlfriend. He was with a girlfriend and a friend and his girlfriend, and you could tell they didn't want to talk, but he was down. So, yeah. So he sat down and spoke.
How did it feel? You get a taste of what I feel every time I talk with people.
Chloe, that was I couldn't figure out who was worse when talking with him, like that kind of mindset, and talking with Muslims, or talking with Jehovah's Witnesses or something. I can't figure out who's worse, man. I honestly, they're all in the same bucket to me. But yeah, so it was bad. It was bad because it was like, man, there's no reasoning with these people. There's no logical reasoning with these people who are in this dark cloud of disbelief and rebellion. There's no reasoning.
Yeah, well, you came to the right person to review this topic. So yeah, let's get right into the video. We're gonna have like some commentary and things like that. It would be a good idea if I share my screen so everybody can see, but
Yeah, maybe
just a tad bit. Okay.
There we go. PTSD. I can't hear it.
You
No
can't
sound.
hear? You can't. That doesn't make sense. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Nothing? Still nothing?
Nope.
All right, that's weird.
I could share it if you need me to share it.
Yeah, if you want, because I don't know why mine isn't sharing.
You gotta share it in Arabic.
I know that. Yeah, I gotta share your screen.
Gotta share it in Arabic, man.
Oh, this is funny. Okay.
Did you say share it in Arabic?
Yeah. You gotta share it in Arabic, Chloe. I thought you did that already.
Said GodLogic needs a lot of help in this area, Chloe.
Whatever. Let me see. He's saying she has to share with sound, but I mean, you're not muting anything, are you?
I'm not even muting myself. I think GodLogic.
And the YouTube video is not muted when you play it.
I hear it.
Yeah, she just got to do it in Arabic. That's all.
How to do it in Arabic? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen now.
All right, cool. Oh, you got ads on your.
Yeah. Stupid ads.
Hey, there's Ibn footnote.
Hey. There we go.
All right.
This video did like got the least traction on my YouTube channel.
Y'all gotta do better, man. I said the people watching need to do better. They need to go watch it and share it more.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like all my audience is focused on Islam and stuff. I gotta get these people. So I'll for sure start posting more videos about abortion and stuff. All right, let's see. Let's get it. So I'm gonna mute myself and let's see how it goes. It's not a human.
I think it's the same thing as like what's baking inside a cake when it's not a cake.
No, it's not.
It's God. It's God. Not you.
All right, guys, welcome to another session of GodLogic Apologetics. So we got our friend Ramon here.
Hello.
And so I wanted to ask you straight up, man. I think that abortion is wrong.
Right.
What do you think?
Well, I necessarily think it's just based on the situation and the person involved in the situation, because if you look at everything that's going on, every law.
My question, Chloe, would be for you is how would you have started that conversation or how do you usually start these conversations?
Yeah, so me, I would usually ask them, you're pro-abortion? Yes. Okay. When for you does life begin? Because if you can't establish when life begins, then you're not going to be able to go based on that standard. And once they say that, then it's like you have something to hold them to. Do you believe, in Muslim Christian conversations, do you believe the Quran is eternal? You have that standard to hold them on. So for them to ask that question just right off the bat is something that I can have go back to and ask them and say, well, you said this earlier, but now you're changing. Hopefully they'll be able to see that they're doing, you called it, you put in the video, a pro-abort shuffle. So I would say, okay, when does life begin for you? And then a lot of them, they usually end up saying, well, I just don't care. I've had so many conversations saying, yeah, life begins at conception. Yes, it's a baby. Yes, it's its own individual human being. But at the end of the day, I just don't care. And how are you going to argue with someone who just doesn't care? So that's how I would start a conversation. Or why are you pro-choice is another way. Were you raised in it? Things like that. Just kind of set your perspective. So I can argue their points. And then if you argue all the points, then they don't have anywhere to go and they change their mind.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm taking notes. So that was a good question. I like that question to start off with. When do they believe life begins? So I love that. All right, let's keep going. So I asked him if he believes abortion is wrong or not.
Everything about it is based on what men have voted about it, what's going on about it, and we're not the ones that necessarily have to deal with it. So I feel like it's a different situation based on knowing people that have had to do it, people that have gone through it, people that have everything. I think it's just, as a man, I know we're involved in the situation because we're involved in why it happened, but at the end of the day, we're not the ones that have to deal with it. So I don't necessarily think it's our decision to be able to tell, as a couple guys, what women should have to do.
Okay.
Have you ever heard that before? He said it in a different way, but if you know what he's talking about, he's trying to say something without actually saying it. You know what it is?
Basically, it's the woman's body. Men have no say over what a woman does with her body. That's basically the gist of the argument. Is that correct, Chloe?
Yes, that does sound like my body, my choice, or the woman's body, the woman's choice. My usually go-to question, it's this one of the easiest points to attack. During an abortion, when an abortion happens or takes place, is the woman's body the one being aborted or having any effects? Is the woman's body dying? Or is it the unborn baby's body that is being affected? Because if the woman's body is going to stay intact, it's not being poisoned, it's not, dying, its arms are being ripped limb from limb, then you can't really say it's her body that the abortion is affecting. Although abortion does have a negative impact afterwards, internal bleeding, it can cause infertility, things like that. But ultimately, the victim would be the baby. So it's not. And then they would go on and say, oh, but it's inside her body, so she should have the right to do whatever she wants with if it's inside her body. okay, well, I'm inside my house. It doesn't make me a part of my house. You know, my furniture and the walls are a part of my house. You would say that's your house. But me being a person, just because I'm inside it, it's not making me a part of my house. So that's how I would respond to my body, my choice.
I liked how that's funny. I liked how Dave Chappelle responded to this. The my body, my choice. He's like, okay, you know what? I'm all for a woman's choice. You know, you can do whatever you want with your body, and if you what we'll do, right? However, it's he said, my money, my choice. So if you decide to have the baby, I can choose to abandon it.
Yeah,
I can
exactly.
choose to not financially provide for this baby since it's your choice and stuff like that. So it was funny how he responded to that. It was hilarious. But okay, shall we continue?
Let's go.
All right then.
Okay. So you're saying ultimately it's up to the woman basically because it's her body, what's going on with her. Okay. Would you say that that the baby that's growing in her is a person? I think it just depends on.
I think that would have been a perfect time for me to ask, when does life begin? I think that would have been a perfect time for
Do you
that.
see it as a life? Do you see value in it? Things like that. What do you call it? What it like? Because if they call it like a fetus or something, or a clump of cells, depending on the terminology they use to refer to it as a baby, could say how much they value the life. But yeah, so when does life begin? And then just from there.
Yeah, see, I'm already, getting the tactics. I'm already getting it. You feel
You're
me?
trying to impress me. That's what you're I gotta be on with Chloe.
You matter, man. Shoot, this matters. What's up, Harriel? All right, let's go.
It just depends on the person who is in the situation, because some people think, okay, hey, the moment you're pregnant, that's a person. Some people think the moment there's a heartbeat, that's a person. Some people think
What
the
do you
moment. I just think it's not up to me on what I think. It's not my situation. I can't put myself in the mindset or in what people think they want.
So is that your girlfriend?
Yeah, that's my girlfriend.
Okay, so let's say your girlfriend gets pregnant.
Okay.
Hold on.
And
So
you
listen,
want
important.
have-
just because you can't put your mindset to it. So what's the point for advocating for everything? If you can't put your situation in other person's position and have a stance on if abortion is wrong, then why should anybody advocate for anything? Why should people advocate for, I don't know, people who go to prison wrongfully, or any political issue, for gun rights, anything? If you said, well, I'm not in the position, then I can't have a say, then advocacy for anything among anything on the political spectrum is just useless.
That should be clipped. That should be a nice little clip on TikTok and on a YouTube short. I'm actually going to download that part and post that because that was good. I'm going to put it on my Instagram. Yeah, I actually eventually make somewhat of that argument, what you just did later on in the video, because he kept, like, that's what he reverted right back to. And so I was like, well, do you think slavery is wrong? He's like, of course. Don't you think that we should speak up for those who are in need or weaker than us? He said yes. So you do believe that you should advocate for other things that have nothing to do with you personally, something that's not directly messing with you. So yeah, I ended up bringing something up like that towards later on in the discussion. But good stuff, Chloe. Look at me reviewing your review.
Look at me taking charge of this live stream.
Your baby, okay. Right? You're like, yep, let's do it. You know what? But she's like, no, I don't want to keep it.
Okay.
As the father of the child, do you feel like you should have a say?
Well, I would put it in the same spec as, I can't tell her what to do. Are you going to tell her what she can't eat, what she can't do? So if you're not willing to tell her what she can't do in the short period, why are you telling her what she can't or can't do with her body, with her future for 9 months, for the next 18 years, 20 years? Because things change. You might be with her in one moment, you might not be with her in a year. So I think it just depends on what she wants to do. Because at the end of the day, we're not having it. We're there to support. We're there to raise it because it is our fault. Yeah. Not our fault, but it's like, we had just as much to do with it as everybody else. You know what I'm saying? As the woman did.
Okay, yeah, exactly. So if you, just as we have everything to do with it, just like the woman, you as the father of the child should have a say on whether or not you should preserve that baby's life.
I think you should definitely have an input, and I think your input, if you're in a good relationship, in a good situation.
That's what I would have done too. Well, it's half of you too. You can't make the child without me. Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of flabbergasted right there. Like, yeah, that's the point. So we are responsible. So how could you fully take yourself out while at the same time, a few seconds later, say that we have some responsibility here? That makes no sense. What's crazy to me is that these people will be the same ones who will like go against a deadbeat dad. Like they will light him up on the internet, a deadbeat dad, if he abandoned his family and abandoned his child. These will be the same people. You know what I mean? So that's it's crazy how inconsistent this stuff is. I don't know who's worse, man. I don't know who's worse out of the Muslims or pro-aborts. I don't know, Chloe.
They're all pro-death, so both satanic beliefs. So I'm not surprised.
Unfortunately,
Situation should definitely be taken. You should be taken like into consideration, but at the end of the day, it's hard because we say it from a point of view like you can have the kid, we can take care of you, we can do everything, but we're just not the ones dealing with it. Okay, so let me put this in perspective a little bit. So you have let's talk scientifically. Scientifically, when the egg is fertilized, there's a new DNA that is separate from the mother and the father. It's unique to its own right
self.
It's a mix of the both.
Yeah, so it's its own. At that person is born, or not born, I'm sorry, but that's that person. Right. It's its own unique DNA code, right? Okay. So now with this unique person that's now developing, would you say that it is okay to terminate a person's life? Is it ever okay to terminate a person's life?
Well, I just definitely think there isn't a very. It's okay. My answer is kind of long because it's not.
I think
you can't
put
everybody in a bubble.
Life beginning at conception, or you could have said there, where do you believe life begins? Because like to me, it's just like, why should it matter if it's separate? You know, if they don't think it's alive, then whatever. So, I would have said, do you believe that it's alive when sperm and an egg meet? And then go from there, depending on that.
Perfect.
You have to put certain situations, certain people, certain things. Like, are you going to say that the same? If you're putting everything in a bubble, are you saying that the same thing that happened to, let's say, you guys have not you, but I'm saying someone has a one-night stand at one of these hotels, they get pregnant. Is that the same situation as? Sorry to bring it up, but like a 12, 13-year-old that gets abused or something, she gets pregnant. Now is it her choice to be able to keep it or not? So I think it just depends on the situation.
Okay,
I think
so let's go
if a girl goes like, let's say she goes out, she goes willingly, she hooks up with the guy, she gets pregnant. I think that at that point it's up to both of you to figure out as an adult what you guys want to do, but ultimately it's up to the person that's carrying.
Okay, so yeah, so let's take out rape.
Okay,
let's say rape is out of the question. Do you still now see a justification for terminating a life?
Well, you're being pretty broad on that. It all just depends. If you're going out, if you're like, okay, I want to terminate.
What are you thinking?
It's just, okay, when you just brought up a drastic situation and say, in this case, I think abortion should be allowed. Okay, fine. How about just for a thought experiment, let's take that specific type of situation, since it's under 1% chance. Let's take that out. Do you think that abortion should now be is now morally wrong? Outside of that, now all of a sudden, it's broad. Or, what you're saying is not an easy answer. How?
It's not an easy yes or
no. How is it not an easy yes or no, Chloe? You just told me that in this case, abortion should be allowed.
Their standards are sporadic everywhere, just to not let you say to have a point with something.
The pro-abort shuffle, man.
But the thing is, like, even with rape or incest, something like that, their argument is, well, she's 13 years old, something traumatic happened. Say, okay, but so you're willing to subject her to a second act of violence where they're literally going in and forcing forceps or a suction cup into her womb, into the uterus, and do something traumatic again to her body. You're willing to let that happen instead of and kill the unborn baby and not advocate for the rapist to be put in prison or
Good
the death
point.
penalty or whatever. But you're willing to kill the unborn child who couldn't even. I think you're echoing GodLogic. Who couldn't even have a say on how the baby was conceived, doesn't know that its father is a disgusting rapist, anything like that. But you're gonna say to the little girl, "Oh, all you have to do is go get an abortion, and all the trauma of rape will go away." That's not true. That's not true mentally or physically or spiritually. You're just adding more damage to the woman. And there's ways that doctor is going to be able to safely deliver the 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old. The doctors are able to take care of the girl that way without having to kill the baby. And then at the end of the day, you can have adoption, you can have motherhood. There's other options, but in order to kill the baby, it's just making the situation worse for both the mother, the baby, and at the end of the day, if it's a rapist, it's letting the rapist off the hook. Why do you think rapists go to Planned Parenthood and Planned Parenthood shushes the rapes? They don't report it. That's why rape is less than 0.01% of abortions. It's rare. People don't always get pregnant from rape, but it's also not reported as just say the 99.9%, which is done out of convenience.
Again, another clip. It's another clip. I'm serious.
I have videos on this GodLogic. Like I have like 10, 15-minute videos like responding to like rape, incest, like all these stupid, pathetic arguments that they use.
Well, some of this stuff need to be revived then or something. We need to revive this story. We need to get you like out there live, you know.
Bro, that'd be so much fun. The one time I did like actually do it live was in 2020 at the Women's March, which by the way tweeted they are unapologetically pro-abortion, which I thought was pretty funny. But I went, and when you try to talk with these people, you got a nice lucky guy. But when you have like a crowd of pro-aborts and you say, let's come and talk, they spit at you. I got middle fingers pointed at me, spray painted. Man, it was a disaster. And this was before I was like actively doing YouTube, but that would have been a video to watch.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That probably would have got kind of made me mad though. I don't know. I don't know if I would have been able to watch that.
They were lucky I wasn't doing YouTube, but next time I gotta do that. That's so much fun.
Yeah.
Trouble with them for sure.
Yeah, you should for sure go like to the college campuses every now and then, or like you're on campus, right?
I am on campus. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. Are there not opportunities to do that?
I think they would probably call campus security on me. Like, what is she doing out here?
But you're a student. You can do that.
Oh yeah, but like, I should do it though. I think just as a test run, I should do it.
Yes. Do you have like people at your school or that's in person in your town or whatever that that's with that?
I'll go by myself. I don't need nobody. I don't need nobody.
I'll just magically fly out there.
Let's go
on campus. All right. Let's get it.
Terminate this because I want to keep going out to the club. I want to do this.
Yeah, so
that's a little bit different of a selfishness as opposed to like, hey, this isn't. Am I gonna have this kid and have him be in a lower income household? Am I gonna have to do that? It's just okay.
Depends. Okay, good. So rape is not the issue then. So now you're saying that it would be okay to terminate a person's life if you think that they are going to be born in a less fortunate type of lifestyle.
No, not necessarily that they would be good to terminate it. It just depends on the percent, because you could be a millionaire but with a million stresses,
so
and
hold
it
on,
just depends on you.
Let's. I'm trying to bog it down on this. So
Okay.
like, is it okay to terminate a life because that person may be born into a low income household? Would it be okay? Yes or no?
What do you want?
Want a job that I don't hate.
See how he just see the standards are like just to not say
Shuffling.
yeah, we have our own version of a Muslim shuffle in the pro-life.
Yeah.
It's probably
Yeah.
as bad.
No, yeah, seriously. And this shuffle is as bad as it gets. I mean, when you ask, what up, DJ? When you ask, is it okay to have an abortion? Like it's okay to do that just because you fear the baby will be born in a low income house. Is Jesus God? Did you believe your God is a baby? That's how bad the shuffles are, Chloe. This is how bad the shuffles are.
You know what would be a funny question to ask them again, just to see their consistency. So do you think we should kill all of the poor kids or all the poor people? Do you think that's okay?
Mhm.
Like, well, you're saying, well, they're gonna grow up in a low income family, they're gonna be poor. So we just go start killing people, they're probably gonna say, no. So what's the difference if the child is born into a low income family versus someone who's already in that situation? They're gonna end up saying, this usually goes, oh well, my body, my choice again. Or it's not born yet, so it's not really a person. They're going to end up shuffling somewhere else, and then you're going to have to deal with it,
with that,
how they go. But that's usually where they end up going, because there's no justification to murder an innocent child inside the womb. That's just not it.
So that's exactly why that first question you asked is so important. When do you think life begins?
Standard. DJ says, hey, Jesus is Lord, watch out for the shuffles. Every single demonic movement, belief, whether you're dealing with it politically, being with abortion, or religion-wise, being Islam, every single demonic belief does shuffles because they cannot make points. Every single one.
Oh, for real. Mick said, if God wasn't patient, we would be toast by now.
Yeah.
So true. So 100%. True, man.
All right. Let's go. It's gonna get, I don't know, better for me because I like to laugh at stupidity. But worse for this poor guy, man. And it just goes downhill for him. He's not gonna know what to say.
I'm trying to bog it down on this. So like, is it okay to terminate a life because that person may be born into a low income household? Would it be okay? Yes or no?
I don't necessarily think so. I think it just depends on the parents. The parents, because
what if the parents decide to do that? Would they be wrong?
Are they willing to stay in that lower income household for their?
What if they can't help it?
What do you mean they can't help?
Let's say like they've been trying, but they can't find a good job. You know, life happens, right? Life. They lost their job recently. You know, life happens. And say life hit them. They end up getting pregnant. They feel like they don't have the means to take care or give this child the life that they feel like they want to give their child. Are they justified in killing that child now?
Not necessarily. Well, but you're being kind of broad, because are you killing them in the very beginning, or are they killing them at the very end? Are they killing them at the very, like, it's like, because if you're killing them before, or not killing them, but if you're.
So the stages matter, depending on, how big they are. We'll see, if they're on the smaller spectrum, we're a little more, yeah, I will. Then no, I don't think that's
Yo, I couldn't believe this one. I couldn't believe this level of shuffle. I couldn't believe it. Like, you just said that, okay, no, that shouldn't happen. Well, now at what point are they doing it? Or is it early? Is it late? At what point is it going
to change based upon how far along they are in the pregnancy or anything like that? Again, that's why it's very, very important to get them the standard. because they can't defeat facts. They can only just end up saying, "Oh, that's just my opinion, and I believe this because I can." But they're not going to be able to defeat the facts.
Yeah,
facts are facts.
Notice my question was very specific. My question was, so do you think at this point it is okay to kill, that they're justified in killing their baby? He says not necessarily, but then again, this is you're being a bit broad. Is it early or is it late? So depending on at what stage the baby is developing, Chloe, it is okay to kill that baby. That's what he's implying. Depends on now the stage, not rape, not whether it's low income, but now it depends on stage of development when you can kill that baby.
Which, by the way, at every stage, they're let's say if it's because the baby can't feel yet, or the babies can't have a brain yet. So if someone is in a vegetative state, you're okay with just unplugging them without their permission. Like, in every single thing they're gonna say, you're gonna have to say, be consistent, and then give them like a medical example. Is it okay to unplug someone or what I would say is, if you know someone is in a vegetative state, but you're guaranteed that in 9 months they're gonna come out and they're gonna be fine, would you still kill the person? They're going to be plugged to the life support. But if you're guaranteed that in 9 months you unplug them and they're going to go on and live a happy, healthy life, would you do that? And then they'll say, well, yeah, of course, I'm going to keep them on life support and preserve the life. Well, you're going to say, well, in 9 months, the baby is within 9 months, the baby is guaranteed to exit the body. So why are you okay with aborting the baby and killing its life? No answer, usually.
Yo, that's a clip.
That's 3 for 3.
That's a clip. Yo, that is a clip. What would you let's say a person is in a coma, is brain dead, in a coma, brain dead, but you're guaranteed that in 9 months this person will wake up.
And specifically use 9 months.
Yes, that is excellent.
9 months. They'll say, yeah, of course, I'm going to keep it alive. I'm going to do everything I can to preserve its life. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. But yet you're pro-abortion. Yes, I'm pro-abortion.
Brain dead for it. I'm taking notes, so forgive me. Let me play the video while I do this.
I love how impressed GodLogic is by this. This is like when Sam Moon goes on his channel and he gets like a gem in the Bible. Like, this is how Avery reacts.
Because I love this, man. I love this, man. These are cuts right here, man.
What's up, Culture? Good to see you, bro. Dan says cake pre-birthday, baby. Yeah. Well, actually, my birthday is in 6 days, so we're gonna have some cake in about 6 days. It's probably very painful to straddle on top of a fence. Yeah. But welcome, you guys. Avery is taking some notes down. This is why we did the stream, by the way. I'm pressing Avery live on YouTube.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I actually have a book I want to show you. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. I have a book right here by Scott Klesendorf. I don't know if
For life?
Yeah, The Case for Life.
Look.
So I got to chapter like 3, I think. And it's really good. Nope, I got to chapter 2. Oh.
People can see it better.
You can put it up now.
All right.
You can see it better. Yeah, let me get it out the light. There we go, kind of. Yeah, The Case for Life by Scott Klusendorf. It's really good, man. And I need to go ahead and just run through this book and finish it. I got a lot of books that I need to finish. Oh, I have a bookmark here. But yeah, it's been a while. You there? Did she leave? Am I the moderator now? All power is mine.
It's not Clubhouse. That's not how it works. But I was gonna say, Lila Rose, who is a very good sister,
Lila.
reading her book, and she says, and it's Fighting for Life by Lila Rose. So it's a very good pro-life book. See some of the chapters that are in here. So yeah, this is a very good how to do pro-life apologetics. Let your heart break, find your heroes, know your gifts, things like that. So Avery recommended a book. I'm going to recommend Lila Rose's book, Fighting for Life. So if you want to get into the pro-life apologetics field, those are two books that I would and Avery would recommend you guys to read. So.
Yeah, I gotta get the Lila Rose one.
Yeah,
she's a beast. That girl is a beast. I mean, I would be scared if I was on the other side. I'm not about to get on the mic and challenge her. I don't care.
I'm pretty scared of her.
Real, man. I've never seen him look so pathetic. That was tough. But yeah, okay.
All right, let's get to the cake. Have your cake and eat it too.
Terminating or going through that process before they have like a heartbeat, before they're bit. It just all depends on the person, the situation, because I can't speak for anybody else.
So I'm
can't,
asking you.
Because you could think, okay, the person is a person when I can see them physically as a shape.
It's not based on me.
So what are you basing it on?
So this is, like I said, at excuse me, at the moment of conception.
So you're talking about the moment they intercourse, they have everything.
When the egg is fertilized, a new person is there because there's a new DNA that's unique to that person. It's not the mother's DNA, it's not the father's, it's that own person.
Okay, well, can I put like maybe it's not trying to downplay it, but let me just put an example, okay? If I put everything getting ready for it, let's say I'm making a cake at home, right? It's not downplaying, it's not doing anything, but let's say I get a thing, I put my eggs, I put my flour, and I put everything mixed up. Is that a cake at this moment?
No.
Okay, so why is it not a cake? It hasn't developed, it hasn't been processed, it hasn't been baked, it hasn't had time to fertilize, right?
So are you saying that this DNA is not a human yet?
I'm saying, what do you define as a human? Do you define it as a moment where, okay, you guys have intercourse and then that happens, or do you define it as a moment you can see it and be like, okay, this.
Let me tell you what's wrong about this. You're mixing products to make one product, to make a whole different thing. But with fertilization and conception, you're not mixing both of them completely together and then the other two disappear. You're taking part of the mother, 23 chromosomes from the mother, and part from the father, 23 chromosomes from the father, and making something completely different that's not alike. You're getting a whole new product from them two. So it's not the eggs and all the ingredients coming together to make one thing. It's half and half coming together to make a completely separate thing from then. You get what I'm saying? Like, you're not just going to totally disregard the parents. The parents are still going to be the parents with their own unique DNA. So I don't think it's equivalent to a cake at all.
No, not at all. I understand completely what you're saying, which that's what I tried to convey. You're comparing the ingredients of making a cake to what it takes to the genetics that come with an entirely new DNA code. Like that's a false equivocation and a dangerous one. But that's what like people like this have to do in order to like deconstruct the human. They have to dehumanize it. That's what they have to do. So now, not to downplay it, but it's baking a cake.
Which is funny because you realized he was downplaying it too. I don't really know what I'm actually saying, but I'm going to still say it anyway.
Don't mean to do this, but I'm doing it.
Exactly.
Is there a glob? Is there
a point in time where a woman is pregnant with something that is not a human being?
I think so, because
so what is growing in her if it's not a human?
I think it's the same thing as like what's baking inside a cake when it's not a cake.
No, it's not, because
you got to think about it. If you have a
bowl,
bowl of things, right, and you put the cake in there, you're mixing it. That's still, you can't just serve that to be. That isn't a cake. But I'm not saying that it's a cake. You got to look at the scenario, right? You have this. You still have to bake it in the oven.
Where a woman is pregnant with something that is not a human being.
I think so, because
so what is growing in her if it's not a human?
I think it's the same thing as like what's baking inside a cake when it's not a cake.
No, it's an elephant. We're pregnant with an elephant before it's a human or a monkey. Maybe they're proving evolution to be true.
Yo, I couldn't believe this one.
So what is it?
What is it then? If she is pregnant with something that's not human, what is she pregnant with, man? I think it's the same as when you're baking a cake that's not a cake. Yo, this is what the Bible talks about. Professing to be wise, they prove themselves to be fools, man. This is what you become when you rebel against God, when you conform to the world. This is what you become, man. Reprobate.
So there's this belief in science. One of the things it needs to be proven that something is alive. It's pre-existing cells or lead to pre-existing cells. So it takes after its own kind. That's literally scientific. You don't even have to go say life begins at conception. It's alive. It's going to beget something that's alive.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the way it is. So
that's just the way it is.
Religion, but you cannot deny the science. And then goes DNA equals cake. That's right. Nucleic acid, the code for genetic makeup, and everything else that your cells in your body and the individuality of the DNA, it's equivalent to a cake. Mm-hmm. But you would still say has the potential to become cake. That's what they say, It has the potential to become the cake because it's not in the oven yet.
Right. It's not in the oven yet.
I mean, why do you think they call the womb like we have a bun in the oven? Because it's not a human being. I think I'm helping them a little bit too much with I'm fixing his cake analogy for him, but it's
oh man. Yeah, that's tough.
DNA is cake. Yes.
Okay. Should we continue? DNA equals cake. Love it, Ryan.
It's not because
you got to think about it. If you have a bowl of things, right, and you put the cake in there, you're mixing it. That's still, you can't just serve that to be. That isn't a cake. But I'm not saying that it's a cake. You got to look at the scenario, right? You have this. You still have to bake it in the oven. You have to leave it for X amount of time. Then it comes out. It's ready. It's able to be processed. But if you just put everything in there, you can't just generalize it with everything else.
Let me tell you what's different about that. Why that's a terrible example.
Well, it's not. I'm not downplaying it. I'm just saying, like, I'm putting it as the example. Like, hey, this isn't finished.
Let me tell you why. Because when it's DNA, everything that is that person is right there. All it needs now is time to grow.
Same thing.
So look, listen. The amount of fingers that person's going to have is in that DNA.
Right.
The amount of hair, the color of the hair, the color of the eyes, the height. You know what I mean? All of that is there in that DNA cell.
Same thing as you would say. There's the eggs, there's the flour, there's the chocolate, there's this and this.
No.
How is that not all just sitting there? But you have to let it mix. Let it get together and bake over time.
For example, does egg have the component of cream?
No.
Exactly. Does the bread have the component of egg?
If you're talking about finished bread, no. If you're talking about pre-egg, no. If you're talking about everything mixed together, it's not.
Exactly. So the reason why this is different is because the hair color, eye color, height, body type, you know what I'm saying? Muscle type is in that DNA. It's all there.
Okay.
So that's not the same as these parts that come together to make a cake.
But it can depend on one day to the next. Because that's why you have siblings that
Wait,
one sibling.
what depends on one day to the next?
One day to the next is going to depend on what that DNA is.
No, the DNA is there already.
Okay, so you're telling me if let's say you have intercourse on, just talking the broad spectrum, you have to.
He said your DNA can change day to day. That's interesting.
Yeah. That means we got a lot of wrongly convicted folk that's in prison right now because of their DNA. Some DNA was found at the scene. They could just say, well, my DNA was different. It's different right now. Prove to me that that's my DNA. Check me right now. My DNA right now is different from the DNA back then. Get me out of here, man.
Chromosomes that already happened that merged together. The sperm actually came out of it unfertilized itself. So a new sperm cell can go in and change the 23 chromosomes it took from the father. Or the egg actually died off and a new egg came in and it fertilized. Like what? I was like, how is DNA changing? That's interesting. That's very interesting. And it's dangerous too, because even as us who are born human beings, it's dangerous because then my DNA with replication to fix a scab, my skin wouldn't be able to do that because that wouldn't be my DNA. It's not going to my body won't be able to heal itself. My white blood cells that go and attack infections, it's going to be completely irrelevant because according to him, he thinks DNA changes.
It does.
So your whole body, even as someone who's already born, he's me and you and everybody in the live chat as alive, is not going to be able to function properly because our DNA changes.
Mm-hmm. Get it together.
That is amazing.
Yeah, this is the best science conversation I've had in so long with this guy. It was amazing. And shout out to him, man. He was so nice and respectful. So
I would have just no. I just had to.
Do it on Monday to Tuesday. The kids could be completely different. That's different sperms, that's different eggs. So it all just depends.
No, brother. What I'm talking about is when that sperm and that egg meet, and it's fertilized, it becomes a new genetic code.
It becomes a thing.
Yes.
It becomes it becomes mixed, right? So then you have to give it time to grow.
No. It becomes a DNA now. It's DNA now. So listen to the process. It's DNA now, right? Once it's fertilized, new DNA is formed. So what's in this DNA is not its mom, it's not its dad, it's itself.
But you have to look at it as different perspectives. If she
you know fetus, right? But do you know there's a certain stage of life before they call it a fetus? A fetus is like 12 to 16 weeks. Do you know before that what it's called? An embryo. That's a big term for it. It's an embryo to fetus, and then it goes on and on. So like saying it's new DNA, it's an embryo. It's alive.
It's an embryo.
Yeah, that's what it's called. He's taking it again. So, embryo to fetus, because they usually just tend to know it's a fetus. But before that, like newly conceived, they call it an embryo.
So after the egg gets fertilized,
and fertilized egg is called an embryo, and that's
the fertilized egg is called an embryo.
Yeah. So that's from conception to about, I want to say like 8, 9, 10 weeks, and then from 10 weeks on, they would call it a fetus.
Okay.
And I think even before that, an embryo is a zygote. A zygote, embryo, fetus, like the smaller it goes, but doesn't make it less alive. It's just a stage of life. So
yes, exactly.
Embryo to fetus to newborn to adolescence, child, teenager, adult. It's just a stage of life. And throughout all those stages of life, born or unborn, it's still alive from the moment it's conceived, and it's a single cell organism. A single cell organism is alive.
Okay. All right.
This is better biology than his biology.
That is good biology. Don't hate on his biology though. His biology is unique.
Very unique and very unscientific. I'm making up my own word. I can't believe he's making up his own science. I'm making up my own word.
Unbiological.
Yes.
I love it. That is now a word officially today.
He and I take a cup and we both spit in it. That's new DNA, right?
Right?
Is it alive?
If I spit in a cup and you spit in a cup, that's new DNA, right, Chloe? We just started something. We just started making a baby.
That's a
That's
baby.
new DNA.
He's just proving Islam right. Yes, that's all it takes. That is all it takes to make new DNA. Lovely. Very, very scientific. He should be a doctor.
Yeah, that one was tough.
I wonder
mean,
if you asked him where does sperm come from, if he would give you the right answer.
He'd probably say it depends. You're being broad.
Yeah, yeah. There's no evidence for that. We don't know.
Allahu Alam looking self.
No, it's not new DNA.
How is not that new DNA? That's my DNA and her DNA. It's just different types of mixtures.
No, brother. Your DNA, your spit, and her spit don't combine as one different spit.
Why
you know
not?
what I mean? It's because it's that's
because
not how
if I was to mix that together and dump it down, you wouldn't know the difference, right?
Yes, I would.
How? Would you be able to say this part of the spit is hers, this part of the spit is hers?
Brother, if you look at look at it through a telescope, you can literally divide which would be yours and which would be hers.
If you had a telescope to do that.
You can. So the fact that you can do that gives you the fundamental difference that DNA, you can't do that.
Well, you can do that about everything.
No, but not DNA. Listen to what I'm saying, Ramon.
Okay. I'm understanding what you're saying.
Okay,
but
good.
I'm saying, like,
so DNA,
but you're trying to put everything in a broad spectrum.
I'm not.
How are you not?
Because I'm specifying. I'm not making it broad. I'm making it very specific.
Okay.
DNA, you cannot split to where this is her side, that's that dad's
How can
side.
you not?
Because the DNA is a person's own genetic code.
So you're telling me, like, if her family's tall, right, and my family's short, and my kid comes out tall, you're telling me that didn't get from that side of the family?
What I'm saying,
you couldn't split that from that side of the family.
You're not understanding. What I'm saying is that in the DNA,
it's called exhibiting the dominant trait. It doesn't mean it's from, because he could have a tall trait that he gave off from his side. He just doesn't show it. But they both can have the tall trait. His just might be recessive. Hers just might be dominant. And the dominant trait just popped up in the kid. But you don't know where he got it from. The mother can have the tallness recessive. The father can have tallness recessive trait. Pass it on, and the kid can exhibit it to be tall and be tall. So that's not how genetics works. I don't know what he's talking about. It's just that he exhibited the dominant trait of being tall.
It will give you the code on if that person specifically, your son, is going to be tall or not. It's in the DNA. Whether your next son will be short or not, because it can come on both sides. You have the potential to be either or. But once the DNA is formed, the DNA has that in there.
But you're talking about, okay, the moment that DNA is formed, is that, but you're bringing up the point, is that once that DNA is formed, is that now?
It's a person.
How?
Because now it has its own unique genetic code.
But then how would that makes a person? But then how is everything that's mixed into a bowl of cake? Yeah, and I'm not. I'm trying to say that a kid. I'm not trying to say a kid is a cake. I'm trying to put it in the example that you're mixing everything in there as a bowl, and eventually that's going to become a thing, right? You have to go through the processes of doing everything. You have to go through the process of taking care of as a female, you have to take care of your body. You have to take care of everything. You have to make sure that you're growing the kid correctly.
Growing the kid. So you are growing the kid.
Because if that's what you want to do. But if you have everything right there.
Like that's what's in the woman, right? A kid.
No, I think it becomes a kid.
Okay, what is it before it becomes a kid?
I think it's a mixture of everything that's going on. But at the same time, it's not alive.
It's not alive. How's it growing?
Okay, could you sell a batch of everything and say that right there, I promise you, is going to be a kid. It's a kid right now.
We're not talking about.
But I'm giving you an example. But you have to put it into perspective for everybody that doesn't want to think about it. The fact that it's a kid, you have to put it into perspective.
Ramon, listen to what I'm saying. We're not talking about perspective. We're talking about facts.
But you have to go through the processes of doing everything. You have to go through the process of taking care of as a female, you have to take care of your body. You have to take care of everything. You have to make sure that you're growing the kid correctly.
Growing the kid. So you are growing the kid.
Not the fetus, the kid.
When you get in conversations like these, does this happen often? Where it slips out that they'll say baby or kid or child?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because deep down inside, you know what it is. You know it's not just a clump of cells. You know that it's alive. That's just a God-given common sense that people have, even as atheists. A lot of atheists are pro-life, but they just know that it's separate DNA from the mother and the father. It's its own unique individual. They know it, but if they admit that it's a kid, they have to admit that it's alive and it's its own separate human being, and the entire abortion argument is destroyed.
Yeah.
That's how it does all the time. But then, or then you get people who are sick, and you say, "Yeah, it's a kid, it's alive," but I don't care.
Yeah,
I've had a lot of conversations like that. I'm
like that one girl who was talking to Jeff Durbin.
yeah,
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
exactly.
She was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do what I want to do. I'm gonna kill it. So what? I'll murder that."
Yeah, I'm gonna kill it. How can
Mhm.
you kill? How can you murder something that isn't alive? Da-da-da.
Yeah, that's tough. All right, let's keep going with this brilliancy.
Because if that's what you want to do, but if you have everything
But
right there,
like that's what's in the woman, right? A kid.
no, I think it becomes a kid.
Okay, what is it before it becomes a kid?
I think it's a mixture of everything that's going on.
What's
But at
going
the
on
same
in
time,
there?
it's not alive.
It's
So-
not alive. How's it growing?
Okay, could you sell a batch of everything and say that right there, I promise you, is going to be a kid? It's a kid right now.
We're not talking about.
But
a
I'm
batch
giving
of
you an
stuff. We're
example.
talking
But you
about
have to
something
put it
that's
into
living.
perspective for everybody that doesn't want to think about it as the fact that it's a kid. You have to put it into perspective.
Ramon, listen to
Did
what
you
I'm
hear that,
saying.
neighbor?
We're not talking about perspective. We're
Just
talking.
keep the question. He said, "If it's alive, if it's not alive, then how is it growing?" He didn't answer that question. That's a good to implement as well. Well, answer my question. If you don't think it's alive, if you don't think it's its own unique individual, how is it growing? Or you
Mhm.
look and you say, "Look, you're alive and you're constantly growing. You know, up until the age of 25, you're constantly growing. You're alive. The baby in the womb is growing, you know, and developing, and the heart beating. So why are you downplaying its life? What is it about the unborn baby being inside the womb that is making you say it has no right to life?" So you can, if you get them to that point, press on the life point and get them to see that it's a life. Because once people see that, is usually when they're like, "I can't defend it, no matter what situation." Like no exception.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
About facts.
But, okay.
No, listen, please.
But you have to put it into everybody to understand.
You gotta
it.
listen. I'm trying to.
Go ahead.
I'm trying to at least because you and I were talking past each other right now because I'm dealing with what I'm considering facts, which you're being sensitive to people's perspectives, which is respectable.
I think at the end of the day, it's not my point of view to care about what other people have to deal with.
Really? Is it your point of view to care about if black people get enslaved?
What does that have to do with what we started talking about?
What your point is? You said you know what? It's not on me to care about what other people do. That's what you just said.
Because I can do what I can do to be a good person, do what I can do to what I believe is being a good person.
Should you stand up for someone who cannot speak for themselves?
Absolutely. If you have the position to be able to stand up for somebody, absolutely.
Good. So I agree. So
at this time, what comes to be able to consider a person though?
Good. So just follow the line of thinking.
Okay.
So you ought, as a human being, to speak up for someone who cannot speak for themselves. You got to fight for the powerless, right? The weak. We got to stand up for these people. Now, when it comes to what's growing and what's the unborn child,
okay.
it is definitely a human being that's growing. Unless a human,
it will become a human being.
You listen, my friend, your DNA is human. It's not lizard. It's not rock. It's not dirt. It's human. What's growing in the woman is human. It's all you're talking about now is the development.
It's the foundation of what's going to become a human.
Okay.
Because there's a reason that you can't.
Excuse me.
Oh my god.
I was done right there. I was done right there. Right there, I was that lean back. That okay. This
DNA is human. It's not lizard. It's not rock. It's not dirt. It's human. What's growing in the woman is human. It's all you're talking about now is the development.
It's the foundation of what's going to become a human.
Okay.
Because there's a reason.
right there, that's when it was it for me. It was.
He ends up just relapsing to the beginning. That's
Mhm.
why you need a foundation, and to get them to, or at least if they don't agree with the science, I could send you Princeton University with thousands of quotes saying life begins at conception and fertilization. But to work with their their position as well, and then eventually they'll have to agree that life begins at conception. Um, man,
I would love those quotes if you can. If you can send
oh
me
yeah,
those links from Prince, from all those liberal, the ones you said are liberal, that are
yeah.
even, yeah, I would love to have those to just pull up, just like how I have hadiths.
Mm-hmm.
I would love those.
Yep.
Yeah.
I will text them to you. I'll text you all of the links, bro, and I'll text you a link that's done by I think she's a medical specialist. She gives all the reasons, and I'm actually want to do a series on this: why abortion is the uninformed choice, why abortion is the unsafe choice, why abortion is the whatever you can think of. She gives the statistics of it.
Mm.
I'm definitely gonna do like a series of that, just like giving the statistics of it. But yeah, Dan asked. No, someone asked a question earlier. I wanted to answer. Let me find it. Yeah. What if someone were to mention medical dilemmas such as ectopic pregnancies? An ectopic pregnancy is when the fertilized egg is implanted in the fallopian tubes. Most by the time the doctors go in and remove the baby, the fetus, the baby's already dead. So me speaking as an obstetrician gynecologist, the medical term would be an abortion, but you're not going in for the purpose of taking the human life. You're going in for the purpose of to help the mother who's still alive and just to remove whatever's left. But the baby is not alive because it wasn't planted correctly. So as an OBGYN, I would do that, which would be which would they call would be an abortion, but it's not going in and purposely taking the life of a perfectly healthy baby. You're removing something that's already dead, the tissue, the remains of the baby, in order so the woman does not get an infection. But there's a difference between going in and removing it for an ectopic pregnancy and just having abortion willy nilly. So
Good stuff.
mhm,
All right, we could finish this out.
let's go.
Reason that you can't take a baby out earlier. You can't do anything. You have to wait
Why not?
until a certain
You
point.
can.
You have to wait until a certain point. You
Why?
can't take a baby out at 3 months. You
Why
gotta wait
not?
because it's not gonna survive. It's not ready yet.
Oh, what's not ready yet?
But at this point,
Wait,
what
what's
point,
not ready yet?
the baby is not ready.
Thank you.
Okay,
so
but
a
at what
baby
point?
is growing, right?
But at that point, when the baby's growing,
I mean, I would go back and argue even a fully developed baby, a newborn, still isn't able to take care of itself on its own. That's what I thought. So just it's not ready. It's not ready to
Not ready yet.
straight from the womb, and you're
It
gonna.
can't pay the bills.
It can't pay no bills. It can't get no job. It's still completely dependent on the parents, the mother and the father, especially the mother. If she's gonna breastfeed the baby, it's still completely dependent on the mother's body. So should you say, oh, just because it's born, the baby has, the mother has the baby, and then she said, it still needs my body to survive. It still needs my time and my energy to survive. Do you think the mother has the right to kill it, even in the newborn stage? They're gonna say no. Well, why not? Because it's outside the womb. So what's the difference between the mother taking care of it inside the womb or outside the womb? Location. So then they're going to start to argue location.
Mm-hmm.
I would, as someone who's pro-life, I would say there's no difference. There's no difference between, being inside the womb and outside the womb. Either way, even at 21 years old, I'm sure Avery, even at 21, 28 years old, still always going to need their mom for something, whether it be helping, actually helping them, like feeding them.
I was sick last week, and guess who came to the rescue?
Exactly, emotional support. So
My
the
mama.
mother is never gonna stop being a mother, and just because someone aborted their baby doesn't make them any less of a mother. You're a mother from the time you have conceived the baby. You're a mom to someone. So even if you get an abortion, you're a mother. You're just a mother to a dead baby. Why do you think so many parents who experience miscarriage, they still count the miscarriage as a child of theirs? or a stillborn birth, they're still a mother because they have a child. So no matter what stage, inside the womb, outside the womb, a mother is a mother, and you're always going to need your mom. Which that's something, unfortunately, I've only seen pro-lifers grasp the concept of.
Yeah.
Look at Avery. He's like, I needed her last week. I was sick.
I was sick.
And he's fully developed according to science.
Fully. You know, I still needed mama.
They still
Mama
think
still had to come over.
Yeah, your mom. They think your mom has the right to abort you even at 28 years old.
Even at 28. Even at 28, man, she has the right to take my life, man. Come on now.
Hey, I gave you life. I can take you out.
Take
I
it
brought you into this world. I can take you out. It's like, no, mom. If your mom ever says that, be like, wow, mom. So now you're pro-abortion.
Man. Okay.
We're making better cases for the pro-abortion side than the pro-aborts are. I love that.
Point is where I don't agree with that being happening. I'm talking about you started the conversation saying about, okay, let's say this happens at the moment of inception. Let's say this happens okay, but if you decide, hey, I'm gonna keep the baby for 5, 6, 7 months, at that point you've committed to doing that. That's a baby that you have to have. That baby's formed. But you start talking about when the moment it happens.
Hold on. So this is what has happened in this conversation. Okay. When I've asked you, is abortion okay? Multiple times you said it depends. When I asked you what does it depend on, you've started off with the situation of the parents, what they think. You've also switched to now stage of development, whether it's can survive on its own or not, right? This is now what we're talking about. So are you saying that it's not dependent on whether they perceive their situation to be okay, but if it's stage of development, where the baby is, if it can survive on its own or not? Are you saying that would be, if the baby cannot survive on its own, would it be wrong to terminate that baby's life?
Well, are you talking about you didn't have the time of beforehand to think about it? Because let's say you get pregnant, right? Is that the same? You're talking about the same conversation happening when you get pregnant to when you're 7 months in. If you're responsible,
let's say 3 months.
Responsible people.
Let's say 3 months.
Okay, but you should have that conversation at 3 months.
Let's say it was a one night stand, y'all end up getting pregnant.
If you do that, and 12 weeks later you get pregnant and you decide, okay, hey, I'm keeping this. 7 months later, that's your commitment. You can't. It's the same thing as any.
This is funny. He said, and 12 weeks later you get pregnant. Not your 12 weeks pregnant. He said 12 weeks later you get pregnant. I was laughing so hard. I was like, how is that even possible? It's like sperm that slow. Conception is gonna happen 12 weeks later. Right?
Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. And means let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's just say he means when you are about 12 weeks pregnant. Maybe that's what he meant, Chloe.
You mean after the baby already has a heartbeat, the lungs and the fingers are being able to be seen and developed. That's when it's okay. When the heart is beating, guaranteed heartbeat. This happens at six weeks. So,
yes.
Is it alive at 6 weeks? Is it alive when a heart beats?
It's a baby, but it's not human necessarily. The baby is on its way to be human.
Must be Muslim sperm to live that long. You know what, Chris? You got a point. Brother makes a good point.
Brother makes a good point. But if it was Muslim sperm, it lasts long. Alhamdulillah, he's right.
It is beautiful.
Anything else? If you sign on and you commit to this is what I'm doing.
So what if they decide to?
What if they
decide to jump out of their commitment and say, you know what, I don't want the baby anymore?
Well, it depends.
Is that okay?
How soon are you doing it?
It doesn't matter. I'm asking you.
It does matter.
Okay, good. So
it does matter.
All right, good. This is my question. At what point is abortion wrong?
I think abortion would be wrong once you have a full formed thing with like a heartbeat.
Okay, so a heartbeat.
Yes.
So when the baby has a heartbeat, that is when you're saying that abortion is illegal. It should be wrong. They should not terminate that life.
I just think it just depends on situational standards. Because are you talking about the same thing? I'm going right now. I'm talking about the same. Are you talking about that situation happening to older woman, a younger kid, a kid who got? It just depends. It just depends. But it just depends. You can't put. You're trying to put everything into a broad spectrum. It's
no, I specified it. I specified it for you. I'm trying to make this as easy as possible for you. So you know how like now, at first it was stage of development of the baby. Okay. Then you switch to, well, now it depends on if it's a kid or if it's an adult.
Because that comes before that. Because if you're in a situation where you find out, you go out clubbing, you go out doing something, a girl gets pregnant, you guys talk about it, you decide, okay, this isn't what we want to do, and then this is what we're going to do, we're going to figure it out, and 7 or 8 months later, she decides. That's where it's different. It just depends. I think it just comes on to communication, the situation, and where you're at in your position.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate you coming, sharing your thoughts, and because this is a sensitive topic, right?
So it is, but I think people got to just talk about it to the point where it's a sensitive topic because people are scared to talk about it. Yeah. Everybody, look, I don't think any less of you. I don't think any right. You and I had a conversation. Mm-hmm. You and I'm completely the same feeling as when I walked in. Yeah. You and I can have different thoughts. You and I have the same thoughts. You and I agree on certain things. I can agree, disagree. It just depends on what we're doing.
Absolutely. I appreciate you, man. I know your girlfriend's rushing you, so
you're all good.
But I appreciate you coming on.
I committed to doing this, so we're doing it.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Logic.
Wow. What's up, Adam Seeker? Long time no seek.
Adam, what's going on, brother?
Oh, brother, no. Dude, Avery was like, I'm done. Avery was like,
yeah.
So what's worse, a Muslim shuffle when you talk to them, or that pro-abort shuffle?
The pro-abort shuffle.
It was worse.
Yeah, the pro-abort shuffle is worse. I've been at Balboa Park for months now. I've been speaking with Muslims on YouTube for over a year now. Mm-hmm. There's times where I get irritated. There's times where I, am done. But it takes longer than that with Muslims for me to be like, all right, bro, have a good day. It takes longer. That was bad.
Yeah, you're like 25 minutes and you're like, nope.
Yeah, I was done at 15 minutes. 15 minutes. 15 minutes. The video is about 20 or 19 minutes, whatever.
You gave him a little bit of extra time to maybe there could be some hope in resolving this. Mm-hmm. he was just like, I can't deal with these people. And that's interesting because he actually stayed and was listening to you. The majority of them just end up
cussing you out.
Yeah. I don't know what it was. Maybe you were just really nice, or maybe he was a really nice pro-choicer. But the majority of them, I think, especially like women, pro-lifers, they like, oh, you betrayed your kind, and then they usually end up telling you, oh, I hope you get raped. I wish you were aborted. Yeah.
What?
Yep. You should.
I hope you get raped.
Yes, you should see the amount of comments. They're like, you betrayed your own gender. I wish you were aborted. Your mother should have aborted you. I hope you get raped and you abort the baby. Or it's like the worst possible things ever. You're like, you're nice. God bless. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it had everything to do with him. I just think he was just a nice guy.
And he didn't know what he was talking about.
Didn't know what he was talking about. And he's definitely one of those people who, as you heard, he really was. He couldn't stand on his own opinion. He had to go with everyone's position. It depends on this person. So he was really just a nice guy, I think.
Yeah. Adam Seeker says, you still owe me a debate. I don't like pro-life people. I'm fully pro-choice. Here's the thing.
Kafir.
Here's the thing. I think all pro-lifers are the real pro-choicers. For the fact is, we give you the choice: abstinence, motherhood, adoption. That's choice. Now, the pro-abort people say you can have an abortion. So we're pro-choice. We're the real pro-choice. And
Really pro-choice.
one of the choices do not include death of an unborn child. So sorry, Adam, I had to correct you there.
Yeah, Kafir.
That happened to a Students for Life volunteer in Kansas. My goodness. Who said I'm pro-abort? I'm pro-choice. There you go. Welcome to the club, Adam. No need to debate. Same here. Good job, Avery. I can't wait to see more.
Yeah, I can't wait to do more. I cannot wait to like really develop the arguments and the topic and really get it like to where, you know, have a bunch of angles to go.
You're gonna make me rewrite the entire thing that I already said in these videos to watch, huh?
Yeah.
You're gonna make me elaborate more.
Absolutely.
He's just like, oh, I need to know how to answer this. Just find the video and watch it. Like,
yeah, that's right. Exactly. So, man, this was really good, man. Yeah. I want to see if, because there's a college campus near me, and I want to see if they maybe have a Students for Life association or something, because that's dope. I would love to see if they have that out here, because I never see rallies. I never see protests. I've never seen any of that. I always hear about it after the fact, way after. I'm like, how did y'all know to go? Where'd y'all hear about this from? I never know about that. I would love to go to a pro-life rally. I would love to march with these people and get in these discussions and debates on the front lines. I would love to be there. Go to the clinics and stuff like that. Well, I don't know how relevant that is now, but I'm late now. They already shutting them down, man.
Majority of them are shutting down. Yeah, you wonder why, which they would say, but it wasn't the majority of our income. It was only 3%. Okay, so why are all the abortion clinics shutting down if it was only 3% of your income? That's an interesting question. I debated one of my high school friends who I graduated high school with, and I brought up the question, so when is it like okay to like kill it? And he's like, oh, whenever the mother chooses. Said, but in law, if someone kills a pregnant woman, it's a double homicide. They count the unborn child as a life. But if the mother goes in and kills her unborn child by abortion, she's not charged with anything, and people don't say it's murder. I was like, don't you think it's like a double stands, hypocrisy type of thing? Like the mother's the one that gets to decide when it has life, has value, depending on if she wants it or not. And he goes, yeah, that's a good point. Because in the law, under the law, it's protected if a pregnant woman gets killed. It's a life. If they count, they charge him for 2 murders or 2 homicides. But if the mother goes in and kills the same life, it's under the name of choice. That's and bodily autonomy. It's amazing.
Deception. Makkah.
Is there a pro-life shahada? I don't know. I like making shahadas.
We got to come up with one. I'm gonna need Danny's help to get in on this. Danny and Chris Claus, and we'll come up with one.
Next live stream, all of us do. We're gonna have a pro-life shahada
for sure.
Because we'll have semi of a Quran only Christian shahada, which Adam needs to take his Quran only Christian shahada.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Adam Seeker, you need to come to the original Quran and believe in the original Quran and take your shahada, the one that confirms Jesus is the divine Son of God who is one in essence with the Father and Spirit.
Definitely. Pro-life hadith, bro. That's all pro-abortion.
Sahi Lila Rose.
Narrated Rose.
Narrated Lila Rose.
May the pro-life gods be pleased with her. It said, life begins at conception, and anybody who disagrees shall be sent to the hellfire.
There is not one pro-abort who will not touch the abode of the hellfire.
Yes.
There is not one who will
Alhamdulillah.
go past it.
Anyway,
Yeshua.
we've been here for an hour and 20 minutes. GodLogic, would you like to have any final words? Because I'm nice and I let you speak. No, I'm kidding.
I love it. Yes, final words. I've learned a lot. So I'm thankful for this stream and having you on the team, because this was really fun. I'm literally probably going to go on my computer and look up any type of nearby movements, campuses, clubs, or whatever. I'm gonna look some stuff up to see if I could be a part of some stuff. And yeah, I'm extremely motivated. So yeah, guys, I need you guys to help spread the pro-life content that I will be doing as well, so that, you know, because I know most of you guys, you guys look at me like I deal with Islam, but I care about other people as well. So it's not just going to be apologetics towards Islam, but just apologetics to the world, period. So thank you so much, Chloe. You're amazing.
No problem, bro. Thanks for coming on. Sargon says, my man Avery wants all the smoke. He wants it from the Muslims. He wants it from the witnesses, from all the other heretics out there. And now he wants pro-aborts.
I had a conversation with someone who believes in God the Mother. I got that we recorded it, but it's not, it's only audio because we went off camera, but my mic was on. And so what I want to do is I want to get someone to like animate it, to animate the discussion, so it's still a video. And yeah, it was a good conversation. I need to get that out there, man. But I got to find an animator. I need to know who does that. But yeah, this was good, guys. I do want all the smoke.
God the Mother.
Yes, God the Mother. You haven't heard? Have you not heard? Read Galatians. Read Galatians 4.
Is it Juice from Clubhouse?
Well, it wasn't Juice. It was actually a guy in person. Surprisingly, a black dude. I couldn't believe it. He was black, man. I'm like, it hurts me. It hurts me when my black brothers believe in this weird stuff. When they're Muslims, when they're Jehovah's Witnesses, believing in God the Mother. That just it hurts, man. But yeah, same stuff as Juice.
My goodness, Lord have mercy. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys subscribe to GodLogic because he is so close to 11,000. Yay.
Man,
so subscribe, hit the like button, and with that being said, Jesus is Lord and abortion is murder. We will see you on the next stream, guys. Peace out.
Peace.